This guy is going to help us generate more leads. He's going to book more meetings and close more deals using the power of video. Previously worked at Apple for over 7 years and is now one of Vidyard's finest video content editors and creators. Please welcome to the stage, Chris.
Am I on? Yeah, I'm on. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, so I'm Chris. Good to meet you all. I work at Vidyard. Anyone heard of Vidyard? A few hands. That's good. So we're a video hosting platform. We help sales teams and marketers and customer success teams to unlock the power of video. Hopefully, Kyle has charged you up with the idea of creating a video, and if it hasn't, then hopefully I'm going to be able to do that for you today. What we do is help you to unlock the power of video and use that to empower your marketing and your sales team. So we're going to cover today, We're going to cover how video has changed a lot over the last 10 years. I'm going to talk a bit about how you can use video throughout your customer journey. So thanks, Carl, for introducing the flywheel. I'm going to refer to the flywheel as well. Why you should use video in sales, in marketing, throughout your customer journey, and of course how to get started. And thanks again, Carl, for teeing me up so much. I'm going to use memes. I use memes because it makes me less nervous when I do these kinds of things. So there'll be memes. So firstly, just video as a channel, first and foremost, really. Over 80% of all internet traffic now is derived from video. We consume it absolutely everywhere. Video for social, as Carl was talking about. TikTok is now the largest content base available. You've got YouTube, the second largest search engine in the world. We're consuming Netflix and Disney Plus and streaming services. The amazing educational content, much like the stuff that you'll find on Digital 22's website. And of course, there's cat videos. Who doesn't love a cat video? So how can we unlock this channel for your business and your marketing? Well, again, I'm going to touch on the flywheel. And we're going to go on a bit of a journey throughout the flywheel and just going to make some suggestions as to where you could start to pepper video into your customer journey. So we're going to start here with our strangers, attracting people to your business, something that all of you know a huge deal about. So video has always been a really, really powerful channel for conversion. This is the most recent video marketing report from Demand Metrics. Still shows that trend continues. 71% of businesses showing that video performs better than other types of content. But if we dig a bit deeper, there's some really interesting trends that have happened over the last few years, specifically uploads and length of video. So what you'll notice, this blue bar here is the latest year, and then the different colors every year, and then we're looking at length of video. So what you'll notice is short form video content is absolutely the most popular channel. And in the last few years, you'll notice that's doubled and doubled and doubled. More and more and more video content. This here is engagement, so you can see engagement, short form video content, and lots of it. So creating more small content, and we're sharing it. So in HubSpot's words on their State of Marketing report, if you haven't started investing in more video in your marketing funnel, now is the time to do it. And Carl makes a really good point about utilizing that content across social and other places. So Sean's here. I'm going to go on a bit of a brief history lesson, because if you're not already using video, there's some really, really good news for you. We're going to touch on, and this is the second time Oprah's appeared as well in these talks, so there we go. In 2010, video was all about very, very expensive, highly polished, heavily produced video reserved for big brands, major campaigns, all about awareness, big adverts. Then in 2015, it started to shift a bit. Video featured more on websites, and it was really more about engaging with our audience, so utilizing it, making it easy, explaining what it is that you do. Then it moved more into education space, much like what Carl's been talking about, and using it to help customers to understand and inform their own buying decisions, making their own choice about, are you a business that they would want to reach out to? And then 2020 happened. 2020 was fun, but we noticed that what happened was video became more democratized. So it could be used across different teams, and ultimately video in 2020 became the primary channel for communication. We're using Teams, we're meeting people in our own living rooms, Zoom meetings, everything became video. And we were able to use video as a tool to be able to really communicate effectively with our audience, to connect with them, and to provide clarity in a really, really straightforward way. So we're talking about DIY video, really, that kind of scrappy short-form content, type of stuff that Carl advocates for, is a really, really powerful channel to start to unlock now. So we're noticing now that you're able to, and have permission to, create more short-form content that you can inform your audience. So things like talking about upcoming webinars, talking about events, using video and that engaging channel, and using that as an opportunity to directly communicate with your audience, whether that be embedded on your website, whether that be through social channels, however you choose to do it. But we've democratized now video. The expectation of highly polished, heavily produced videos has really changed a lot, and DIY video is now in full swing. So small businesses are leveraging this already. About 79% of businesses are using in-house resources to create content. Bill's there. If you're not doing it, get out there and create some content. This is my summary slide. It's pretty summary. Video is still one of the best channels to engage and convert. Use that video to educate, to inform, align with your buyers. Use short-form content. As I said, Carl said that. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple. And the democratization really means that it's okay to produce content that isn't perfect. In fact, if anything, it's more human. We're moving away from this kind of... we're having meetings in each other's living rooms. Everything has become closer. The lines are blurred between business and personal. So that DIY video really, really is okay to produce. So we're moving away from that attract stage, our strangers, and we're here. You've generated a bunch of leads. Your sales team now want to outreach to them. How do they do it? Well, they can use video. The interesting thing is that virtual selling was the preferred method for sellers and buyers pre-COVID, and it still continues now. Most sales managers and buyers prefer to buy remotely. But what's really interesting is this stat. So between 2020 and 2021, the use of video in the sales process increased 178%. Why? Well, what happened was when sales teams got locked down and couldn't meet with their clients, couldn't come to events, couldn't deliver their pitch, they resorted to email. And they were blasting emails and doubled the amount of sales emails that were sent. So this orange bars is sales emails sent. This little green line is sales emails responses. So it's sending more emails and they're getting less responses. And I've no doubt that your inboxes have been full of lots of very long, very boring, text-based emails that you've probably not read and you've almost certainly deleted. There's more noise. How do sales teams get your message out there and cut through the noise? Surprise, surprise. They can use video. So sales can reach out in a much more human way. They can directly connect with inbound leads in a really personable way with video. They can reply from anywhere. And importantly, they can understand which of their buyers are watching their videos and use that as an opportunity to understand the intent. So if they're sending a video, they can understand if someone's watched 80%, 100% of the video and use that as an opportunity to then reach out. This is the type of thing we're talking about. This is a video embedded into an email, doesn't affect deliverability, makes it more personal, it's clickable, and we're using that as an opportunity to help understand, add value to the buyers. Here's why it's a good value to do. So video is proven to boost response rate. So 70% of salespeople find that video supports them and helps them to produce better opens, click-throughs, and ultimately 26% higher reply rates. But also just having the word video in a subject line, so in your marketing emails, in sales emails, can increase open rates by 6%. Why? It's more engaging. We see video, we want to learn more about it. What is this video? They create this video for me. How is it going to add value? And again, we consume video. We love to do it. So let's leverage that. So we wanted to understand the science of why video is so engaging. So we ran a study with B2B Decision Labs last year and found some really, really interesting results. Firstly, video actually stimulates the positive receptors in our brain. It makes us happy. Video makes us happy. Video is easier to process, so the human brain actually processes images 60,000 times faster than plain text, which allows you to be able to explain complex topics in a really, really concise way. and video is more memorable. Most emails are forgotten within 48 hours, but the ones that are remembered are the ones that contain video. And of course, we can also draw greater attention to key messages. If you're sending a really long text-based marketing email or sales email, it's really hard to draw attention to specific parts of that. But you can evoke emotion and passion and enthusiasm and all those great emotions that Carl referred to through video, through the power of you and your personality and your voice. HubSpot use video in their sales process. They 4x'd their response rates and their deal opportunities by introducing video. So another summary slide. This one's even more summary. Your text emails are getting ignored. The use of video in sales is increasing year over year, so if you haven't jumped onto this, now's a good time. Video will also increase your open and your reply rate, so include them into your campaigns as well. And ultimately, make your prospects and your customers and your list happy. It's science. There's science there, the science bit. So we're not quite at customers now. We've generated interest. We've reached out. We've kicked in the door. They're interested. They're in the sales process. But there's a problem. And the problem is that although virtual selling is preferred by buyers and sellers, because we're communicating asynchronously and we're not meeting people, the whole sales process and the sales cycle has slowed down. So 57% saying that buying cycles have slowed down. And it's slowed down across the entire process. It's slowed down in attracting people, it's slowed down in nurturing them through the process, and all the way through to close. So what can we do to help to speed up that process and make it easier and get more customers to buy? Well, say it with me, folks. We can use video. So video can be enabled throughout every single stage of the buying process to use for multiple aspects, but ultimately keeping deals moving, remaining human, remaining personable, staying in communication, remaining top of mind, that memorable piece that I mentioned earlier, and use video to earn trust, build rapport, introduce to new stakeholders, people you haven't met before. The difficult part is when working asynchronously, everything is constantly changing. How do you remain connected? Video is a really, really great way to do that. So this is an example of someone walking through a proposal deck. So if you've worked on and you've had multiple calls, you've built out a great proposal or a brief, that brief then gets passed internally to your prospective client. It gets passed on, passed on, passed on. How do you make sure that your message is passed on to those right people if it's going to be your champion that's going to sell it for you? Well, you create a video and you do it yourself. They send it internally and they see it. You're delivering your message. You're explaining why your services are going to cost what they cost. And you use that as an opportunity to stay connected. And importantly, you also get the feedback, an understanding of when they've watched it, how much they've watched, and understand the intent from your prospective buyers. Use it for presentations, use it for demos, use it for walkthroughs, all of that good stuff. So this is where it gets really interesting. If you have existing video marketing content, you can also enable your sales reps to have access to it. So if you're recording webinars, you have ABM content, you've got loads of great video marketing content, how do you squeeze all the absolute maximum ROI you can from that video? Well, you serve it up to your sales team. These are shared folders that they have access to. So when your sales team are in the process and they want to prove that you can add value in a specific area, perhaps you've got a case study or you've got a specific answer to a question, let them serve it up. But importantly, understand the feedback when someone's watched that and use that data to inform the ROI on that video. So sales have sent it, how do you actually attribute revenue to somebody in the sales process, to the closed won deal? Well, you can do that by sharing the videos directly through the process there. This is the most summary slide. Sales cycles are taking longer. Video can escalate your deal cycles. It can speed up the whole process. You can give your sales team access to that video marketing, and you can attribute ROI from that video in the sales process back to your marketing results. Sean's back, and we're now talking about they've purchased, they're now a customer, and we're in a really turbulent time right now. People are really questioning about where they should be spending money. So if you want a customer, how do you keep them? That's the most important thing. Well, guess what? You can use video. So we can use video as an opportunity to introduce ourselves. You can use video as a way of perhaps the CEO who might not have been present during the entire sales process, but they might want to record a video to say thanks for your business. It's a really great way of staying connected to your customers, asynchronously without the need for synchronous meetings. Utilize it for checking in, utilize it for your onboarding, and ultimately provide demos and things that they can watch in their own time. This is a really great example. Again, if you onboard a new customer, I've no doubt that once they've joined, they've probably always got the same questions. And you end up jumping on a meeting and you have to explain the same stuff in the onboarding and you're going through all the same stuff. You can create video content that you can share. You can automate your onboarding process whilst staying connected, whilst removing synchronous meetings, saving yourself time, saving them time, and empowering them to self-serve their own answers. So you can utilize that. And testimonials. Get your customers to create a video explaining why they joined you and why they're so happy with your service, and use that as an opportunity to validate the reason that they've chosen to buy from you. Another great example here, same kind of thing. We're just talking about handovers, automation, make everything smooth, and utilize video to just humanize that entire process all the way through. Great example here, Pipedrive, who use us, they 2x'd their increase. So they not only kept their customer, but because video is such an engaging channel for them to speak to them, they actually increased their monthly recurring revenue with their customers by staying connected and utilizing video. So use video to support the onboarding of your new customers. Have frequently asked questions, short-form videos that answers those questions, run-throughs of, if you run a platform or you have a specific service, create content that you can use, a library of content that will save you time. Get them to self-serve their answers, get clients to provide testimonials, build a library of content, ultimately build relationships remotely, and enable yourself to encourage referrals. So I promised some takeaways, and I'm aware it's lunch, so apologies for that slide. But there's a few things that you can do to get started. Video creation is free to get started. We have a free tool, it's a Chrome extension, you can download it, you can create video content straight off the bat, you can embed videos on your website and utilize it straight away. If you want to motivate your team to start creating videos, then there's loads of enablement, there's loads of content. Pro tip, download the tool and send a video internally. I know Carl was going to do get everyone to record a 30-second video. It's a really good thing to practice. Creating video at first can feel a little bit nerve-wracking and a bit strange. It's easier if you create a video and send it internally. And also, has anybody ever been to a meeting that didn't need to be a meeting? Probably everybody. Send a video. Use video as an opportunity to save yourself some synchronous meetings. There's plenty of other opportunity. I don't know if this is going to be shared, but we have a benchmark report that can show how you stack up and can really show the power of what video could potentially do for you. We have a masterclass, which is like a 20 to 45-minute online certification, which we love. And connect with me on LinkedIn. Always happy to answer questions and go from there. That's it. Thanks so much.
Chris. Has anybody got any video questions for Chris while he's on stage? Okay, Kyle. It's got to be a good one, this one, Kyle.
Hey, Chris. So I love Vidyard videos in emails. I remember the first time I ever received one. It like blew my mind. I didn't know this was possible. But I recently received one from someone internally at HubSpot that was like, it was really long, and I don't know what they were actually asking me for, and it was really painful to watch. And so I'm curious, do you have just any like rule of thumb, best practices, if you're doing video in a one-to-one space, how do you make it awesome and not terrible?
Yeah, it's a good question. So these kind of certifications are helpful, 20-minute, 30-minute. General ballpark is I've said already, keep videos short. I think video has got a lot of headlines around the results that it does for sales teams. And it's almost kind of morphed into this kind of video as a silver bullet. And I shared some of those amazing results that video can do for sales and for marketing. But it's not a silver bullet. You know, you can't give someone a phone and expect them to immediately be good at cold calling. You can't give somebody access to email and expect them to be able to write the perfect email. So I think there is a degree of practice. So general rule, keep it under a minute. If it needs to be longer, as you said, create a couple of videos. There is plenty of enablement out there. But yeah, keep it engaging, keep it short, get to the point. 10-second intro, 30-second ask, 10-second CTA. And that generally is a good kind of model for short-form content.
Thank you, Kyle. Anyone else? Last chance.
Hi, Kyle. Is there any companies that you feel are particularly doing a good job that we could maybe do a little bit of checking out just to get a bit more inspiration?
I'm actually going to shout out Digital 22, or I should say avidly. Have always been really, but have some really fantastic content. Again, we do. You'd expect us to. Digital 22 have always done fantastic. Share the inbound. They've been sharing these inbounds for a number of years, and have a bunch of fantastic content. But also will share content over on LinkedIn. Carl's another great example of sharing things. So yeah, I think you see content in lots of different places. It's certainly becoming more prevalent on LinkedIn. And to Carl's point around LinkedIn likes video. The algorithm pushes video. So if you're looking to kind of drive better results, use video. I think it's a great tool. So yeah, certainly you'll be familiar, I'm sure, with the Digital 22 website. That's a great place to start. That wasn't a plug. That's just generally out there.
Hi, Chris. Excuse me. We started using Vidyard for the email videos, and initially it was great. And as you say, put the video in the subject line. But after a while, because Microsoft have this thing there where you've got to click the show blocked content, the initial animation of hi Chris, it's Matt, that kind of thing, obviously doesn't show until they click that. And so we started seeing a decrease in the amount of videos that were actually viewed in the emails. Any tips on a way around that?
Yeah, it's a good shout. So video shouldn't affect the deliverability. I think what you're saying is that they're delivering, but there's content filters that are blocking images, right? So when you use video in an email, effectively it behaves the same way that your company logo would in your email signature, exactly the same way. If those filters are switched on, there's not a great deal that can be done about it. Ultimately, you need the text to kind of point to it, or you've got a hyperlink and it doesn't look particularly good. I don't have an answer for it. It's not something that we've encountered a lot, so I wonder if that might be the type of customer that you're outreaching to are generally more likely to have those kinds of filters on. I can ask and see if we've got any because it's a really good question. I say it hasn't come up too much in my world. But I'm sure we've got a bit more data on it. There isn't hugely a workaround. The only thing that I would say is that with any kind of sales methodology, multi-channel is really important. And we have a LinkedIn integration, so any videos that you create that you share over email, the same way we're looking at shared folders, are immediately available through LinkedIn Messenger. So if your sales team are outreaching over email, but also following up via LinkedIn, then they can always post those videos directly through LinkedIn. That's also great. And I work with plenty of clients who actually find LinkedIn as their primary method. They've already connected with them, and they just use it as an opportunity to kind of show their face. So I would maybe divert to that as a secondary plan.
Yeah, thanks for your question. Any more? Okay.
Hiya. Have you worked with any clients that have struggled to get their staff on board with what you're doing? Because we've got quite an old-fashioned sales force that have just discovered what LinkedIn is. So I think getting them to do video might be a bit of a struggle, but we're the in-house marketing team. We're pushing for it. So any tips that you've got would be welcome. Yeah,
it's a really good... And I'm not going to say all, but it's very, very common, right? Because it's tough putting yourself on camera, especially putting yourself on camera and then pitching to a prospect, and there's this kind of feeling, I think, that they maybe want it to be perfect. There's a few things that you can do. One is to get the team to just create content outside of that kind of individual personalized. So they can take a few takes. So the challenge we often hear is that they want to do it, they're happy to do it, but they want to get it right first. So they record it a few times. You think, well, I don't want to slow my sales team down. So you can get them to record a video that's not personalized, as them introducing themselves, and use that as their kind of banked video that they send. Maybe create a few different use cases for particular challenges that you're solving, and do that. The alternative is that you can create content for them, right? So we're also talking about, you've already got existing marketing content, so maybe we're not talking about their personalized outreach, but they're using video further down the funnel. I think what's also helpful is if you can get a champion, even if it's just a single person who's like a hand raise that's like, yeah, I'll give it a go, and they've maybe created 20 to 50 and they've started to get good at it, they will see results. And no doubt those that are a little bit less keen on it, in sales, results drives action. So they may be then more inclined to go, okay, well, I'll give it a go, and it starts to build up a bit of momentum. We work with businesses, with coaches to support the enabling of those skills, because again, it's a skill, right? It's not something you can just suddenly switch on and everyone's suddenly like, filming themselves out and about. So yes, baby steps, but there's definitely a few things that you can kind of take on like that can help to get you started.
Thank you.
Okay.
So my question's based around people who work in kind of open office environments where maybe opening an email that's going to play a video at top volume might not be socially acceptable. Would you recommend including subtitles in videos, which might make it seem like it's less personalised, because clearly you've had to take time and edit it? Or would you say include text in the email as well that kind of says what you're saying in the video so they can read it instead of having to watch it? Like, what would you recommend for those kind of instances where you might be, your clients might all work in an environment where it is very open and watching the video out loud might disrupt other people?
In that office environment, are people having Zoom calls?
So we work in a WeWork, and normally people will take themselves away, but every now and then you have like the one social pariah that will have a Zoom call out loud, and it's like death glares across the room. But so for me, I would never play a video that's come in. I would want to read what's going on beforehand. Yeah. Just to make sure it's not going to be disruptive.
Yeah. So I get that. There's a social etiquette piece that I fully appreciate that. Yes, you can absolutely add subtitles. You are right. It does add a degree of it will add time, which is not necessarily what salespeople have a lot of time for, as do very few of us anyway. So yeah, I would say, and you raise a good point, because obviously a lot of people are also accessing email directly on their phone, and they're on the commute and they're just going to go through things. They think, right now I'm not going to do that. So I think the power of video as an opportunity for opens, and also I think it's important for sales to chase. So if people haven't watched the video, you're directing people back to the video to find that right time. There is no right answer. Yes, subtitles are a thing. I don't know of any specific cases where people have prioritized subtitles rather than standard audio. Ultimately, you don't know when and where people are going to pick up that. So I think if people are struggling with views, they're getting opens but they're not getting views, then that's all about looping people back to that original video to hopefully catch them at the right time, or sending an additional follow-up one. But yeah, there's no right or wrong, sadly.
Okay, we're dead on time, which never happens. So before we finish for lunch, please put your hands together for Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matt.